What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. I hope that everybody that's viewing my channel is in good health, good wealth. Everybody's actually A-okay. This your first time viewing this channel. Make sure you hit that like, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also make sure you click that all button so you can be notified every time I actually post new uploads and current content on my channel. Oh, people, got good news. Finally, I made it over 100,000 views. Wow. That's pretty freaking awesome. But, when I talk about certain things on my channel, they're not really particularly famous, I should say. Or they're not topics of hot discussion, Unfortunately, I don't have a squirrel monkey or any other sort of gimmick that basically gets millions of views. So, bear with me, people. But guess what? The truth is never popular. What I want to talk about today comes from the Luciferian Doctrine, and I want to expound upon the Luciferian Doctrine in order to shed light upon the currentness of what it actually involves itself in, as opposed to people's preconceived beliefs, as opposed to what it is. Now, what I want to talk about is abandoning forever any harmful addiction, inane, or bad habit. Now, what I want to also talk about is the psychology in what I call, quote unquote, American culture, where they particularly want you to think that, these particular habits are whatever it may be, smoking cigarettes, drinking, whatever. They want you to believe it's genetic. No, those are social conditions that are introduced into a person's behavior or character, which the person wishes to adapt or to non-adapt, or which is called maladaptation. In other words, just because your mom drank, or just because your dad drank, or just because anyone particularly in your family did something, doesn't mean that you chose to do it based upon a genetic preference. That's bullshit. That is one of the most trickiest ideas that they have ever passed upon in people in modern psychology. It's a fucking fact. And pardon my language if you're watching this around kids. It is a learned behavior. It is a choice. First, it had to be presented to you. Secondly, it had to be something that you acknowledge as far as your personal constitution is concerned. And third, you had to really accept it and indulge in it. Fourth, until the point of addiction, till you actually wanted it to be a part of your existence. I hate it when people say this shit in multiple verses. Like, I've heard it for years and years. I was born a crack baby. I was born this way. I was born this way. That is called acceptance of an adverent condition. It's adverse. So, particularly, you have to realize what you say in regards to that, because you acknowledge the fact that once you were actually what? Singular, in the sense that your creator created you. And then you had to actually realize that something was introduced to you. So you can't really say that you were really born that way. Unless, of course, you come to acknowledgement of self, which basically should allow you to expound upon the greater indifferences about what was introduced to you and what was proposed to you before you even came into this world. Trust me. We'll get into it. Let's go. Abandoning forever any harmful addiction, inane, or bad habit. Let's go. Drugs limit your possibilities, and they do it in both ways. First, by increasing your loss of moral energy. An example, the stronger the drug, the more it's lost. And secondly, by disrupting thinking due to the introduction of toxins into your body. It has got consequences such that you are unable to, one, engage in a clear process of acting and planning until the damage is done, and two, it's cleared by the last, which takes significant time and delays of the whole process. Sober state of mind is necessary for any achievement. So it will be a fight against you and your inner nature only. By using those substances, you are virtually cutting yourself out of the chance for your change. Every drug, even if seemingly not harmful, destroys and interferes with the process of thinking, and time is required to restore it, which can only be achieved by becoming and staying clean. It's a part of it to let go, but for instance, one-time use of alcohol disables you from your actions towards success until effects of it pass, and it lastly usually ends up for the next few days. Your amount of free will is reduced and the possibilities attached to it. Therefore, by your using or taking of drugs, which also include pharmaceuticals, you consciously lower and temporarily lose your opportunity for change. Addictions and habits considered as bad result from the lack of purpose in life. Everyone has gotten motivations, but not everyone has gotten still for the will. Courage and knows what to do to make his life an enjoyable journey, his or her, I should say. Drugs seem to fill this need, emptiness, which results from the lack of going along the inner desires of soul. The last might be the addiction or result of an immoral lifestyle which overtakes you gradually, which will definitely lead you down the path of your own personal demise. All in life is brought to a process. Number 2, you're changing your nature. An example, taking a journey. You have to start the work, feel the pleasure by doing it, so you have the responsibility underlined to finish it, and you can't, example, drink or eat drugs. Your boredom is killed. All takes on a purpose, and you're overdrawn by the process, and nothing else matters. Your work that causes no pain but pleasure, as it is set with the inner desires of soul, meaning that you can do it forever without being or becoming tired until death, sets you apart from others in a very short amount of lifespan, and by putting your purposeful effort into it and maximizing your efforts to create the best that is possible, you earn continuously lots of moral energy, which eventually leads to you reaching the state of adoration, on which drugs cease to be existing, to be desired, to be taste, or a need for them totally disappears completely. Other people with whom you associate are merely a reflection of yourself, being similar, so in case of subconscious change of thoughts, you will be naturally separated from those who would take drugs, and they from you. It is only escape, refuge, or a way to take and to leave the old completely behind, changing your life on the very best possible effort to save yourself. Until you find the purpose in your life and decide to go after it, you would always take and continue to spend and waste your time with the usage of substance. And you just learned a very significant truth in less than 10 minutes. Now, I know that a lot of people might have a variance in thought because they particularly have been indoctrinated by culture to believe that it's just the way to go, you know? You have to realize that this corporate system has inculcated people with the sense of actually believing that substance is necessary in order for them to cope with life. It's a coping mechanism. It's not something that was embedded within you genetically. No, that's a fucking lie. And part of my language is watching this around children. But it's a lie. Totally. And what people have to come to a realization about is why they do what they do in the first place. They never really ask those questions. But we live in such a culture where people really question other people about what they do as opposed to what the actual individual does themselves. That's what people don't get. It's such a judgmental and hypocritical culture we live in the United States because everyone worries about what everyone else is doing as opposed to what they're doing themselves. That's a fundamental fact. And the sad part is a lot of people have also disassociated with their personality in regards to this because what they have realized is that as long as someone else is doing what I'm doing, It's fine. That is not the truth. First off, let's get one thing straight. To each his own. If you choose to do what you do and you wish to do it, it is fine. It is your choice. It is a decision you have to live with. Period. That's why I tell people all the time in my personal life, I don't judge anybody. As long as what you do is what you do, I should say, or does, in the linguistic sense of the South. As long as what you does don't affect me, I don't care. It is what it is. It's your choice. But what people have to come to a cognizance of is getting out of the habitual routine of actually making something seem normal that really isn't. Because as time consumes and as time progresses and as time goes on, you got to realize that you're losing certain particular energies that you're supposed to be actually putting out in the universe that you're not utilizing. And I tell people, this is when we come to the proverbial phrase of when salt loses its savor. Once salt loses its savor, it is trampled under the feet of men. So, how does salt lose its savor? You have to ask yourself a question. Now, this is for only personal reflection. You don't have to answer it in the comment section, but you have to take it into strict consideration that what I'm saying is very true. Now, you have to also take into strict consideration that these things were designed to take you out. Now, according to Luciferian doctrine, alcohol is one of those things that are considered plausible, based upon the legality of it all. But, in moderation, it is what it is. Now, people might disagree with that. It is what it is. If you don't wish to drink, that's your choice. But, there's nothing wrong with a little beer when you work on the weekend. Chill, watch a movie, kick back. It is what it is. As long as you don't try to down a 30-pack, in less than 24 hours, we get that. That's called overindulgence. Now, what I want people to realize when it comes to this video is actually coming to a cognizance of the usage of certain things, because whether you believe it or not, one of the most addictive substances that is actually pumped into society wholesale is caffeine. Yes, people. Y'all can sit here and say, I don't drink, I don't do this, I don't do drugs. So what? It is what it is. Guess what? You do caffeine. It's an upper. It's an opiate. It gives your brain the effects of actually receiving some sort of energetic jolt or some sort of jovial ideology behind your consumption of it, and which makes you want more, which is the same thing about people who actually do drugs or whatever the case may be. Now, the object of this video is to make people shake or try to wean away from the innate behaviors or these quote unquote bad habits. Like me, myself, years ago, I used to smoke. I did. Until I realized that there were no benefits, particularly pertaining to smoking. Now, people might take this as a public health service announcement. It is what it is. But the truth is, I don't smoke because it ain't a goddamn thing worth it. It's not worth it. Now, am I trying to convince anyone to not smoke? Let me tell you something. Those are your lungs. That's your body. You can do what you want. But I quit, and I realized the health benefits as far as what increased to me a quality of life is something that literally is irreplaceable, And, time goes on. A lot of people, they have this ideology that they always say that they can't. No, it's not that you can't change something. It's just that you just don't want to. And that's perfectly fine, because you're going to have to live with those particular results in your own life. And that's between you and your creator. But for people who want to shake those behaviors, it all starts with self. It all starts with your resignation and your particular belief and ideology and how you view your life and how you view it to be that much valuable to your own existence and meaning that you wish to have some type of purpose driven toward it. And you just learned a very significant truth in less than 15 minutes. Now, I'm not trying to convert anybody to any type of belief. Trust me. No, not at all. But what I will say is this. If you want to make significant changes in your own personal existence, it all starts with your personal self. It's all about you. Serious. It doesn't come outside of you. It starts within you. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. So take that in strict consideration. Peace, light, and love to y'all. Agents, do not contact me whatsoever. I do not consent. I do not oblige. But I will tell you people, those people in the YouTube universe, those people who view now and those people who view in the future, it all starts with self. Change starts with self. Doesn't come from anyone else. Doesn't come from a particular source. Doesn't come from anyone's opinion. It all begins with you. Period. Once you learn how to change what you see, you'll learn how to actually be. Peace and light. Y'all take care.